Only Beingist Transcendental rule. Do whatever you want, as long as it does not harm or bother anyone in the universe, not even yourself. This single rule seems very simple, but it is not. In order to be able to truly apply this rule, without breaking it in its nuances and subtleties, one must be very honest with oneself. Absolute sincerity is almost impossible for the human mind, unless it is totally free of all fears, material, emotional, and addictive attachments. To be able to apply this rule with total certainty and no doubts is equivalent to saying, do what you have to do or not do, say or not say, eat or not eat, drink or not drink, without harming or disturbing anyone in the universe. For this, you must be prepared to be able to communicate with your own essence, which is the energy that gives life to each one of us in the silence of the heart. This aptitude is what AtelTrainer transmits to those who are prepared. A lazy person is happy to believe that they do not bother anyone if they don't do what they have to do, obligations, commitments, so that they can do what they like and be quote-unquote happy without paying attention to the fact that others will have to do what they didn't, and that their distractions are possibly damaging their physical and mental well-being, as well as their environment in the long run. Selfishness. An addict, while lighting up a cigarette, drinking alcohol, etc., will think that it does not bother anyone and it's good for them as it calms and relaxes the mind from existential struggling. But they didn't ask their lungs, liver, and kidneys if these habits will truly not harm them over time. Nor can they consult their essences, energy that gives them life, to ask if their addictions do not harm them in the long run, and aren't impeding them from living a long life free, in peace, balanced, and healthy. Being the mind itself the one that needs to silence its thoughts, it will find it hard to feel and recognize its passive destruction by being addicted to a greater or lesser extent. Mind victim of its slavery. Not to mention the impact on the addict's environment, family. An action based on good intentions can cause inconvenience to third parties who might sometimes misuse what is offered with affection. For example, John gives a box of the best chocolate to his best friend Mary to make her happy on her birthday. But once she is alone, Mary happily eats all the chocolates one after the other until she empties the box, because they were so good, ending up with an inflammation of the liver and visiting the hospital. John, who gave the chocolates to Mary, is not to blame for her physiological discomfort. His intentions were the opposite. They were to please his friend. Mary, by accepting the chocolates, was responsible for their reasonable consumption. Each person is responsible for their actions with themselves or with third parties. Giving a pack of the best tobacco to a smoker is feeding their long-term destructive addiction. In this case, even if your intentions are good, you harm the recipient, which means that you aren't complying with the transcendental beingist rule. Good intentions are the umbrella that shields us from our actions to third parties. Consciousnesses are liberated in their union with their essences. Your intentions will light the way in the darkness of rational doubts.
The only transcendental beingist rule is based on the common sense that our ancestors followed. Common sense that seeks common unity and universal transcendental justice, liberating the consciences so as not to stop individual emancipation for the common good. The history written by the hand of mankind fed throughout centuries of 1,000 beliefs, superstition and fearful interpretations, has silenced people's intuition voices and common sense, giving way to rational, dependent and fearful minds, feeding religions and pagan beliefs that direct humanity from the depth of the subconscious for fear of the unknown existence. The intentions, voices of the essences, are like the need to put all the pieces of a puzzle together to create something beautiful and harmonious. Union. Surprising oneself in the process, in union with oneself. Meaning of life. When someone does not respect a law, a rule written by the rational system, they face the justice and punishment of the mankind. When someone breaks the only transcendental being's rule based on universal common sense, they activate the voices of consciousness to rectify their past actions, to return to following their innate intentions. There is no divine punishment. Only the harm done to oneself and others is transformed by the opportunity of elevation of consciousness from universal understanding and gratitude, transcendental love. A being is skilled to be an ancestral healer. From the best intention based on absolute sincerity, sometimes hurts a person by telling them the truth, that their habits and actions are destructive in the long term to their mental, emotional health and environment, especially when they are addictions. To this end, a beingist who is prepared to liberate by being able to connect with the patient's essence tells them what they do not want or cannot hear from themselves. The truth of a beingist can sometimes annoy, but never anger, as their intentions are to help people regain their inner peace and harmony.
Thank you. Transcendental love hug to you. AtelTrainer's team. Only Beingist Transcendental rule. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.